Good morning everyone, it's Joker, and today we are back with another slime video. And I wanted to do this as a separate video from my normal Jubilee videos because there are a lot of new beginners who only have access to really one team right now, and that is the Dark Team. So instead of trying to tack that onto my normal Jubilee videos and make that like 2 hours long, I'm going to make a very relatively short video going through the normal battles, because the Dark Team is what you're supposed to use in the boss battle. That's not negotiable. But the normal battles being, they are type advantage, technically, so water, space, and earth. But if you don't have a good water, space, and earth, and you've just started and you only have the new Anniversary Dark units, it's really all you can work with. So today's video is going to be going through these 3 stages using the Dark Team. No hero, no Earth Hakuro, just the Dark Team, and for this one, the free-to-play Erin, because she's free-to-play and she's, matches the stage, and she's the orb changer. But you can use anyone as long as they change the correct orb. So, we're going to do that, but first I want to go over my normal disclaimers in a Jubilee video, because there are 3 of them that I introduce at the beginning of every video. And the first one is, your results may vary. Because, I have a good box, I have all the units, you may not have access to some of the abilities, some of the traits that I have, so you will do less damage, you will not clear in the proper amount of turns, or you just won't have access to some of them and you'll have to sub some in, which is fine. You're just starting. Jubilee is not meant to be, highly placed for beginners. It's meant to be a whale thing, grind out, max units, max damage, max everything, all the teams. So don't feel bad. You're playing this event to get the rewards at the end of the week. That's why you're doing this, because it's essentially free crystals. You can attempt it once and you get like 40 crystals, I think, just by playing one stage once. And then the more you play it, the more points you get, the higher your score, the more crystals you get. So it's good. So that's the first disclaimer, is your results may vary, so please keep that in mind. The second is that on the screen right here, these are the 3 characters that allow you to start with half a protection meter. Dark Milim, Light Gazel, and Earth Milim. And all 3 of these units are in the general pool. Now, to have access to their traits, they have to be at least level 84, and to max it, you have to be at level 92 for each unit. And if you have all 3 of them at level 92, that will allow you to begin every battle with a half full protection meter. So you see that in a lot of my videos. A lot of people ask me that question. That is why. So be on the lookout for those 3 units. If you have them, they are much better than trying to put, type advantage units on your front line, because half protection meter is honestly a whole lot more helpful. If you don't have them with traits, maybe you can not use them, but if they do have access to some of their traits, maybe like 2 of them or 1 of them, anything will help you. And the third thing that I want to go over for new players that don't know is that when you go to your town of Tempest, and maybe you have built a few of these already, but as soon as it loads, because it takes a while. Alright, so these buildings down here, these wind magic devices, level 49. So if you go to assign, you can see that you can put all your different units there, and they have, generated numbers of how much output they give. And this increases the facility effect by 1.6 times, which gives you stats. So, increases wind character HP by 8.7, 8.6, and 8.6% because it's at a 1.6 times multiplier. So, if you're trying to, jack up your Dark Team, you should go to your Dark Magic building and assign 5 people that have very high outputs to it, and there you get 1.7 effects. So then all of your dark units will get extra stats, and that's just free and easy. Yours will not be level 49, you'll be like level 10 or something, but anything helps, right? Any kind of extra stats you can give to your main team is worth it. So please don't forget to do this. If you're not a newer player but you just didn't know about this, then yeah, each of these buildings, if you're ever going to try to take on a stage in Jubilee, make sure that whatever stage, whatever team you're using, make sure that they are jacked up with as many of the good units that are assigned to them as possible to get the best stats. So those are the 3 Jubilee disclaimers that I put in every video. So let's move on to the first normal battle. Alright, so first one is technically you should be using the Earth team, but you don't have you don't have access to the Earth team. So we're going to go in with the Dark team. So for this one, I did bring the free-to-play Erin, because she is an Earth unit, she is free-to-play, she is accessible. There are other units that can get your orb changing done, like Space Ranga down here has a double orange to double green orb change. Water Soe also has that, so there are other options. I believe, do you have it as well, or do you go the other way? You go the other way, alright, so not him. But there are other options, but free-to-play Erin is free-to-play, and she's Earth, so she matches the typing, so she is probably the best unit to bring. I guess if you have the new Diablo, you could bring him too, but the stage is resistant against physical attacks, and Erin is magic, so it works out pretty well. So let's go ahead and pop up. We've got, we've got the team. We've got Erin, Rimuru, Milim, Isis, Shinsha. No Diablo, because whatever. Obviously, if you're just starting, maybe your units don't look quite as good as mine, but here, again, are the protection characters up front that give you protection trait. So let's go ahead and pop this video on that I have pre-recorded, and it's fairly short. So turn 1, it's going to be the set hand, right? It's going to be 4 greens, 2 oranges, which is why you bring the orb changer, to give yourself a 6 hand of green. Now this is important. If you don't play it like that, you're not doing it really right, and you're not maximizing your turn. But we're going to send 6 green here. I believe we kill, which is fine. Again, Jubilee fights are meant to be used for type advantage, right? And they score you a lot based on how much type advantage units you bring for the damage. So at the end, we'll see a score for weakness damage, and I'm going to have very little, because I'm only attacking with Erin, and most of my damage is coming from dark units. So really what you're looking for is you're trying to clear this within 3 turns for max turn bonus score, which we'll also see at the very end. So really, it doesn't really matter what we do here, as long as we can kill the enemy on turn 3. So we're going to do our best to get a full hand here, which we can do. So we'll change the oranges, and then we'll change the blue from Isis, or we'll change the blue from Milim, whatever works. Okay, so Milim doesn't have the orbs, so we're going to try and just nuke with Rimuru, since he has 3 orbs, and we'll have 3 orbs for him that are boosted, so he will get an ult this turn after sending all this. This guy will die, which will move us on to turn 3. And there we go. We didn't get a single bit of weakness damage from this because all of our units attacking were dark. So again, it doesn't matter. You just want to try your best to kill turn 3. Turn 4, turn 5, if you have to, whatever. But, if you're doing this strategy, you're going for max turn bonus rather than, trying to overkill the enemy. So here, we're just going to buff up, and we're just going to murder it, and that's all that really matters. So we'll send the Rimuru ult. The 4 Milims don't matter. He's going to kill it. We'll buff with Diablo. Or not Diablo, Veldora. And I think we do like 50-something damage or something. He's got 18,000 health. You can't see it because my face cam's in the way, but he's going to die. There, 54-2. Alright, so now this brings up the scoreboard for the breakdown of points. And here we go. I got 37-7 with no damage received, which is good. But weakness damage score, you can see I only got 292 points out of that because we only attacked, twice with Erin? So if you have Earth units, if you have Earth Valentine, if you have whoever, someone who's Earth and Magic, trainee even, bring them in, make them be your nuker, and at least you'll get some extra weakness score out of that. But then you can see that below that, turn score, 22,500 is max. Most, if not all, Jubilee normal stages are turn 3 for max score bonus. So keep that in mind. Survivor score is keeping everyone alive, and your clear score means you just beat the stage. So 37-7 is the score that I got with this dark team. If you get, turn 3 kill. Your turn score will go down if you go past turn 3. So turn 4, I think, is like 18 or 19,000. Turn 5 is like 15,000. So it takes a considerable drop. But at least you can clear it, right? So let's move on to Normal Battle 2 now. Alright, Normal Battle 2, you're supposed to be bringing the Space team, but we're not going to do that. I'm going to bring Space Rimuru just for funsies. I don't actually think I use him ever. You can bring, Misery if you want, because she's free to play Space. You can bring Ranga, but for this orb change, for this stage, you're going to want to bring Isis, which I think they played very well for beginners for Jubilee, because they made 2 of the stages really focus on greens, which is good, because you have Isis as an orb changer, you have Diablo as an orb changer, you have a whole bunch of other orb changers that focus on greens. So I think they knew what they were doing. So let's go ahead and pop this up. We're going to use the same exact team setup though, except we've changed Aaron for Rimuru. And now we are in the fight. This only has 2 stages with 3 enemies. 1 bat in the first round and 2 bats in the second round. So again, you're looking to kill on turn 3. But if you go past it, just know that your turn bonus score will suffer. But you got to do what you got to do. So we've swapped out Space Rimuru for Isis so we can get her orb change. We'll send all 6 greens. I don't know if we kill here or not. We might. We do. Okay, so actually that's pretty good. If you can kill the bat turn 1 and move on to this stage, then you can focus down on one, and then on turn 3 you can focus the other, or do the AoE, or do whatever. Right here, again, we get a whole 3 orbs of Rimuru, so we're just going to nuke with him with his AoE, which works. So we're going to use Milim's orb change, we're going to use Veldora to reset the cost for Isis's orb change. That way we can have a full hand of greens that are boosted, and then next turn, we're going to spread some damage here as well, that way we don't kill both at once. It really doesn't matter if you're using this team, because, you know, it's fine. But turn 3, we're going to have enough points to use both the crit buff from Rimuru, the alt buff from Milim, and maybe a crit resistance from Shinsha. I don't actually know if we even use it, but obviously turn 3 is where we're going to kill here, because we're ready to go. So crit, alt, and then probably pop Veldora for funsies. Yep, pop Veldora, and then we're just going to kill these bats, and then we'll end the fight, because that's all we need to do. Turn 3 again. Don't feel bad if you can't do it. There we go, 52,000, and our score ends up being 36-9. So a little bit lower. We got extra points last turn because we attacked with a little bit of type advantage, but it's still the same. We received some damage here, but we didn't do any weakness. We still cleared for the max turn on turn 3. Everyone is still alive, and we beat the fight. So there is the Dark Team on Normal 2. So let's move on to the final normal stage, Normal 3. Alright, so it wants to use the Water Team, which is a very, very good stacking team, if you have access to it. So, I mean, obviously, if you have access to any good nuking units for these, 3 types, water, earth, space, and water, swap them in for a unit and have them be your, final hitter. That way you can get that weakness damage. But, again, this is under the assumption that you don't, because you didn't get lucky as far as any other units, but you pulled the main ones. So here we're going to go with pretty much the boss battle team, right? Stacking Valentine, getting stacks of Veldora. It really doesn't matter though, because we're still not doing any weakness damage, so ideally you want to kill on turn 5 here for max turn bonus. Turn 5 is what we're looking for, but let's go ahead and pop this over, and I think we'll have to zoom through a little bit. Yeah, alright. So, again, ideally, this thing is very tanky. It has guard, it has defense. So your normal attacks will not do nearly as much damage as you're used to, which is fine. And also, we don't have an orb changer because this is focusing on blues, which the water team does, and this dark team does not. So we just sent the 4 blues in hopes that we can get a good green hand next turn, which we do, which we get a perfect Milim hand. So we're going to bring Isis in so we can use her boost and Milim's orb change, and that will get us... Okay, so we forego the boost. We get the alt buff from Valentine, so 1 stack of that. Again, damage here does not matter because we are not attacking with a water unit. But it's good practice to get you in the right mindset for, boss battles where you should be prioritizing certain things over others. So here, we've got a full hand of greens, which will give us a good amount of points. We've used 20% alt buff right there. We missed the poison. Now turn 3, you don't want your main nuker in generally, because after your turn is over, he will put a crit nerf on you. It's like a 40% crit chance lower. So you don't want that if you're trying to actually go for max points with the water team. You want to have your nuker out of this turn, that way they don't get affected, because you want to crit when you're ready to nuke. And if you miss the crit, you're going to do much less damage. So be aware of that if you're trying to actually use a water unit here for your nuke. Don't let them be here. And so we've swapped Milim out for that exact reason, to simulate taking them away. So we also didn't have any orbs for her either, so it's not a terrible loss. So here, we're sending another 6 greens, so we're having pretty good luck with the hand so far. Milim is out, so she doesn't get nerfed. You'll see that nerf pop on after we're done here. So there we go. There's a crit nerf. There's a red debuff on our characters, so that is why. And now we'll bring Milim back in, and I think we kill here, because I think we're ready to go. And it doesn't really matter. But let's find out. I think I'm playing around with skills right now. Again, trying to simulate and trying to get in practice of prioritizing certain things for the boss battle. It's just getting into the habit of making sure you have all your buffs active. It's just, what this game is all about, really. Prioritizing skills, maximizing skill points, maximizing your gauge, making sure your units can do what you want them to do on the turn you want them to do it. So here, we'll put some crit resistance on. It's fine. I think we're going to bring Milim in for Valentine. Yep, and then we're going to send this, and I'm pretty sure we kill here, which is turn 4. So turn 5, I believe, is max turn bonus for this, but he doesn't lose his guard and defense until turn 6. So if you're trying to nuke with an actual water unit, it might actually be better to wait till turn 6 to forego a little bit of turn bonus in exchange for a lot more damage. So right here, yeah, turn score 17.5. We have no weakness damage. We've taken some damage. So turn 3, if you have a water nuker, get them out so they don't get that nerf. And then if you also have a water nuker, maybe wait until turn 6, get as much buffs as possible, and wait for his defense to go down so you can do as much damage as possible instead of having his defense block you from some of that. So hopefully this video worked for a lot of beginners who didn't have access to a lot of the teams that I'll be showcasing tomorrow in my normal Jubilee videos, where I do a bunch of different teams that can run it. So let me know if this helped all of you new players out, if you're still even playing the game. I know a lot of people have already dropped it. But that's it from me, guys. Take it easy, and I'll see you later.